So I was watching How I Met Your Mother again as kind of my background while I was doing my work during the day, and an episode came up about the Murtaugh list, which references Lethal Weapon and Danny Glover's character, who always says, "I'm too old for this stuff." And I had the idea of, what are we too old for to do in the parks? Because there's things I used to do definitely when I was living there and in my 20s that I would never do anymore. So I was thinking, what would other people say that they're not going to do anymore?
Okay.
I like that you said in your 20s, because like I was thinking of things I wouldn't do that I did in my 10s.
Yeah, right. I know.
There's the difference in age right there, I suppose.
Nick, you remember that?
Hey.
Anyway, so joining us for the segment, we got Eric Morton, we got Jessica Figueroa, Ron Deanne, who talked already, of course, Nathan and Nick, and Patrick Hackett, as always, below me.
The roast is over.
No.
The roast has only just begun, Patrick. Jessica, ladies first. What is on your things you're too old to still do list? I mean, you're still the same height, so probably not much. But...
Can still get on. What is it? I always say it wrong.
Pteranodon Flyers.
No, actually, I didn't get on. I was just like I was like 1 centimeter.
Yeah, I tried to use Jessica to go on Pteranodon Flyers. I was like, you probably are short enough. We could ride this.
Didn't stop me from going into like the playground, but I was
and losing your phone
from
for
the attraction. It's great, good times. So mentioning playgrounds, one of the first things I asked him, like, are we allowed to throw it back to former attractions? Because the first thing that came to my mind was the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids playground. Like that would be something I would. Am I doing this right? Does this apply?
Sure.
I don't know. Ron was playing a
So
video
that's something
game.
I'd love to do now that obviously I would feel incredibly awkward doing. I mean, most of these are like playgrounds, actually, almost all of them. Because I love spaces like that.
Taking notes,
I'm also
Nick?
really tiny.
If I cut those out, where's my day? I mean, my day's gone.
I'm very short, so things that are designed for children actually feel incredibly like wow, they actually designed something for me. Like whenever I'm in Toontown, I can just walk and I don't have to duck underneath anything. Everything's just at my level. Nathan can relate.
I don't know. I think I am just a hair taller than you. And that affects.
I just wanted.
I'm a film professor.
I'm not only a film professor, but I also represent the Lollipop Guild. So those are my jobs.
For Lilliput, so that I have a whole list, honestly. Like I would love to do all of these things. If you guys have ever been on the cruise, I know Tom hasn't, so I'm just gonna take this time.
And I never will.
Back when cruises were safe, there was this thing. So ironically enough, when we go on the cruises when I was an actual kid, we'd be there with all of my cousins and stuff, and we just wreak havoc on our own. We wouldn't actually go to like the kid center daycare spots. But the older I got, ironically, the cooler I realized. I'm like, what have I been missing out on? These are so neat. All of like the Oceaneer Club and the Oceaneer Lab on the Disney Cruise Line. Each like room is heavily themed, so you have like a Andy's room, and it's lifestyle.
What's
it's like
funny,
basically like you're in his.
When we booked the cruise, the first thing I asked, I was like, am I able to go see those? And Jason's like, yeah, they do like an open house we can go to. I was like, oh, okay, then I'm in, because they look neat. I want to see them.
They do open houses like either very early in the morning or in the evening, so it's like open for like families to spend time together in the evenings. And I would be there as like a 24-year-old, just like, yep, I'm gonna watch Zootopia on this beanbag.
I mean, you
chair.
fit in the slide though.
Okay, I will say.
But they have so many cool
they'll have
spaces.
an
All the
open house
spaces
on
there.
like the very first day, usually,
Yeah.
and so adults can get it. So me and Shannon and my husband went
not
to
the
all
only
the
one.
kids' parts, and Jessica's a tiny human being, but I went down that slide.
Oh.
Because
the like Slinky Dog slide. Yeah, they're cool. And then there's like Star Wars themed areas. Speaking of like now that we're gonna be like washing your hands, something I saw on Twitter was like they have these really cool like hand wash like systems.
They're like automatic machines, yeah.
Yeah, you just shove your hands in, and then it suds it up, and it rinses it off, and it feels like a little hand spa again. Only in the kids club, because it's like you can't trust kids or adults for that matter to wash their hands appropriately. All those things are super cool. There's like a Pixie Hollow, just a lot of really good touches in those areas.
Okay. No, we're doing one at a time, Jeff.
Oh, okay, sorry. I just want to...
One at a time. I want to get to everybody.
Okay.
Get really excited.
All right.
All right, Eric.
I went in a different direction. I didn't go with things I've literally aged out of, like riding in a stroller, which would be pretty cool, or Nick's van, which is supposed to be awesome.
It's the roast of Nicholas Cicero tonight.
Sorry, Nick.
I'll give you a ride.
But I have like a list of 3, but I think the first one I'm just gonna say like that Riggs, I'm getting too old for this, is Mission Space.
Oh.
I used to be able to ride Mission Space 10 times in a day, right? I used to be able to drink a lap around the world and go do Mission Space on Orange and not skip a beat.
Yeah.
That's so true.
And I'm telling you, it's not the motion. The motion always kind of took me right to the edge of comfort. But what gets me now is the claustrophobia. Like I was stuck in there a while back, and like it took too long. Like we were in there for a long time. And that thing closed in on you, and you have the harness over you, and the doors are closed, and nobody's talking. You can't hear anybody. Like, I was getting too old for this. I gotta say, I think I've aged out of. I'll go to Mission Space if someone really wants me to, but I think I've pretty much aged out of going there unless I have a compelling reason to do so.
That's what all the switches are for inside. I just occupy myself so I don't feel nervous. I just keep flicking stuff like I'm actually in control.
Oh, I was sending Morse code for a rescue. Yeah.
Too bad you'll never be able to touch those switches again.
No.
Ron.
Hey, maybe we'll get rid of that whole attraction. So,
Ron, go ahead.
The first one I thought of, and this was kind of the first one I thought of when I thought of the thing, was cramming way too many people into a hotel room. Like, used to take trips like in high school or after that where we'd cram like 6 people into like an all-star room. And yeah, it's not just that I afford to not do that. It's just that I don't want to do that. Like we even had 4 adults together in one room at Port Orleans for 5 days, and like that was just too much.
No way.
Can't. I'd rather have gotten the 2 rooms at All Star than do something like that, just because it's too uncomfortable at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, the place I feel most awkward is at Typhoon Lagoon, Ketchikan Creek.
Yes,
just that name, just
list.
that. No, like in all seriousness.
Do you prefer Pikes Peak? Is that more your thing?
It's Catch a Kitty Creek, not Catch a Predator Creek. So.
that's why he still goes.
No, like, all right, as much as I love Space Mountain, getting in and out of those ride vehicles is just like not comfortable.
Josh won't go. Like anytime we're there and it's like, I'm like, are we doing Space Mountain? He's like, I don't know. It's a pain to get out of those seats. And I'm like, all right.
I like crawl out onto the platform and then push up, like roll.
It's like all 4, like crawling in the photo clay.
I gotta get to the photo.
They like it's so crammed to get in there, and like I'm not a big person. Like I don't know how like taller people get in and out of those ride vehicles.
For me, it's easy because I have long arms, so you grab the rail.
Oh yeah, no, I can't reach that.
Pull you out of the vehicle.
Oh, that would be great. No, I kind of. Yeah.
If you're a smaller person and you're riding with Tom, he's gonna bully you into giving him what seat is it? Like the back seat or something?
The ones with the leg room. I have size 15
like, no,
feet. They don't fit in the holes.
So Nick, us short people, we just hover out. We just kind of float.
Okay.
I just pop right in.
Yeah.
She actually rides in the hole where your foot goes.
One time I was getting in and I looked in the little pocket that there's there, and Fig was just sitting in that pocket, that little, she's just hanging out in
the little bag pocket?
Yeah, the little bag. What are you doing in there? I want to ride again.
Why did you give her an offensive accent?
I don't know.
Nathan, please go. Please.
This is actually something I thought of, things that I would like to do now, but I don't feel that I could really do it. And Wilderness Explorer stuff at Animal Kingdom is up there for me.
Adults.
Yeah.
You can, but the difference is like,
well,
you
maybe
just,
I had a different experience because we
the,
did it like the first day. We were like the first people, so they were just
okay.
excited.
Yeah, you're still in the vlogger sphere at that point.
Yeah, they
I
were
sort
just
of feel
excited
like
to be doing it.
Yeah, I sort of feel like it's like I like doing the scavenger hunts at Epcot and stuff because you're not really messing around with anybody. Like you pay for it and then you take it back. It's not really a big deal. But that constant interaction of like, do you know what a snake is, or whatever they would say to me, I don't know.
So awkward.
That just seems too much, and it's a shame because it actually looks like it could be kind of fun. So that was sort of my main one in the sense of things of I don't know. The moment, I mean, this is a thing that's solved when you have a child and you can just do it. But yeah, without that, it's, I don't know. I'm sure people do it and it's totally fine if you do. It was just one of those things I thought, I don't know.
Patrick?
I just realized I can go on Pterodon flyers now, so I'm pretty excited.
Yeah. It's the only reason to have a child.
Worth it.
Yeah.
So the first thing I thought of, and it is mostly thanks to Nick and Ron, is Drink Around the World. I am entirely too old to do that, to end up in Canada singing Crash Test Dummies and Let's Go to the Mall, also from How I Met Your Mother.
Steve, was that
I'm too old for that. Yeah.
Okay.
Tom's got the "what did I miss" look.
I've heard stories, but apparently maybe not the whole story.
We played.
I'm trying to find the videos. They're missing, so I'm trying to put them together. Maybe we can put them up on this thing.
Yeah, the police are missing. I have one that's a completely different route than everybody else. Cheat Fast Pass.
Why'd you have to go full sketch, bro?
I was young. We were young. My cousin and I were troublemakers. It's too old to do it now, but back then I remember, number one, it didn't matter how many you had that were actually valid. You just make a stack and you give them to the cast member. One time, infamously, the Diffendall showed up real late, and there's like 8 of them, and I think I had 4 valid swords, and like 15 additional people showed up, and I took 4 valid swords, and we went in. All like 20 of us went in on 4 valid swords. The other thing we used to do, I don't advise this at all, test track. We'd go get the paper Fast Pass. Kids, look it up. We'd go get the paper Fast Pass. And so what would happen was the first cast member would look at the time to validate. The second cast member just took the Fast Pass. And so what we would do, if you went to the left, there was still just the chain link little railing. And so what we would do is we just go past, we go around the side, we just step over the rail and then give what would be a later valid Fast Pass to the second cast member. We just go on test track. Too old for that.
Shame
now.
on
Like,
you.
obviously,
Shame
like,
on you.
Bad.
You know, I feel bad.
I
I feel bad about it now.
I
was like 11, 12. Like we were in that age where you do stuff.
You're
like
terrible.
that.
Yeah, you're terrible when you're that age. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did way worse with Fast Passes when I was a cast member. I'll say that because we were trained on how to make the machines print them.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
I would try the button all the time, but it wasn't always on.
Well, yeah, but the other one I used to do was any valid key to the world or ticket card that wasn't like had ever been valid would print a Fast Pass. So if you had old room keys, old tickets that you'd use that didn't have any keys left on them, I would go to the park with a stack of tickets like this.
Yeah.
to use fast passes.
If you went on a day with it later, they fixed that, but sometimes the system would crash, and you could then again still put like anything in the machine. And so I, like, in a trip, I had like party tickets and all sorts of stuff. So I remember we all stood at the test track machine one day when we figured out that the system was down, and everyone just got like 10 fast passes for test track because it was taking anything, room keys, party tickets. I think I put a credit card in and it came out, and like it didn't matter. It just wanted to know that something went in.
I remember.
Ron, did you have to defend yourself, and that's why you got into law? Is that the reason?
No, my moral defense of it was I would always give away about half of them. So that was.
Oh, you're the Santa Claus.
Somebody asked,
of
how'd
the
you figure
Magic
that at
Kingdom.
such a young age? We went like 5 or 6 times a year. You know, you get bored. If you go, like, we went on test track a lot, so we realized, like, well, they don't check. So just step over the thing. We just go now instead of later. It's not like we didn't have a fast pass. Were we going at the wrong time? Yeah, but we had one. You know, and even when we did the other trick, like, somebody had to have a valid one. It's not like everybody didn't have a valid fast pass. Sometimes we use old ones. Sometimes I'd save them from trips past and just use them again.
You're digging yourself a hole. Tomorrow on ITM, it's just going to say Tom Corliss.
I'm sure on Twitter right now
implicated in fast pass fraud.
He's a delinquent.
He cheated his way onto a ride in a theme park. I
mean, I knew other cast members. Other cast members would actually steal the keys and go to other rides to print. Like on their day off, they'd go to, hey, let me borrow the key for a few minutes, and go print a whole bunch and bring it back.
Cast members used to steal no strings books. I mean, there's all sorts of things cast members would do.
Any other crimes that we've all done in the parks?
That's
Any
not
other
a crime.
Did your parents?
It's a fast pass redemption.
But never did that.
I don't know the statute of limitations.
It's a victimless crime.
Younger age.
All right.
Yeah. Well,
anyway,
I'm going to
too old to do that
Anyway.
stuff now, and then plus I'd be judged horribly now by people. So.
I think you're going to be judged.
You are being
horribly
judged.
now.
Yeah, somehow more
I don't
judged.
care. I was a kid. It doesn't matter. You act like I murdered someone as a kid, and then was like, I was a kid. It's fine.
Tom Corliss admits to murdering child at Epcot with test track car with fraud.
We've
pass.
already got this. We've already got this baby pegged for groping Cinderella. Now we have Tom Corliss for stealing fast passes.
Man. All right, let's go around second round. Jessica, do you have anything left? I don't know. You listed 40 things.
I listed 2 things.
But you were passionate.
Well, anyway, speaking of youthful trespasses or whatever, like commit. I remember, like, you were out there committing like fast pass fraud as an 11-year-old, and I was like that kid that like my parents had to kick underneath the like ticket booth because they're like, you're 10, and I'd be like, oh, I'm 12, and then they're like, no.
Oh, that's
my
actual
parents
theft,
made me be
so.
be 5 for like 12 years.
I mean, you probably got away with it.
Yeah, but I was a loudmouth, and I was like,
This
no,
probably
I'm
still
not,
happens
you
now,
know,
like the Outback, your dad just kicks you under the table.
I'm 12.
Yeah.
Mimi, we
No,
want the
it was
crayons.
No, I don't. Actually, Eric made a great point. Because it's so true. Maybe not like full regression mode like I went, but just realizing the small differences of like, oh, I actually felt that this time. Like riding Space Mountain. Since we talk about Space Mountain, it's physically painful. It's fun, but it hurts. I don't remember it ever hurting when I was a kid. Like I also remember like being at Islands and like eating a burger and then riding Hulk 5 minutes later, and it just 0 repercussions. You know, like you just had it like that. But no, the other 2 on my list was Jedi Training Academy, because I always see those little kids walking around, and I wish I could do that.
They won't allow you.
Yeah. Although I wonder how
I'm
that'll
12.
work now, because like all those like little like Jedi robes that they gave him were just like recycled.
I think they'll.
And yeah, I also love all like Nick, much like Nick, I love all of the kid water park areas just because they're very cute. That's it. Oh, someone in the chat is saying that getting kids menus. Yeah, I still ask for.
I just asked for kids menus.
You can ask. Yeah, you can.
I asked.
Yeah,
for
but
it.
you get the blogger card, like Nathan.
Yeah, it's
said,
true. Like I want to
you're
take pictures of it, but I do take it home.
restaurant.
I collect them in paper. No. Ron.
This is another one that's kind of, just uncomfortable at this point, is overdoing it on a vacation, like either like rope dropping and staying like till close, or not taking breaks between days, just not taking a vacation as a vacation and just going all out in the parks for too long.
Yeah.
After Hours was like that the last time.
Don't hit it too hard.
I remember doing After Hours.
I was thinking about the 24-hour day, and thank God they haven't done it. They're not doing those anymore.
I can still do it, but I have to be motivated. Here, I never am because I live here, so it's always like, I just come back tomorrow. When I go to one of the other ones, though, it's always open to close. Like I don't know, don't want to miss a minute.
Yeah.
It's always how it's been.
Well, there's a difference between a 9 to 9 day and like an 8 to midnight day.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, but Disneyland, most of the year's 8 to midnight at Disneyland. Yeah. It's not like Tokyo, you got to line up some ungodly hour if you want a fast pass for something in the morning. So, got to be there at 6. Something like that. Eric?
Second on my list, Tom, I'm getting too old for this Expedition Everest.
Good.
That
wow.
backwards part, it just takes me right to that point.
I was young and it didn't matter. I was sick the first time.
Right?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I was sick. I just am to the point where I get off it and I'm ready for it to be over. And then people are like, "Let's ride it again." I'm like, "I'm good. I'm getting too old for this, Tom."
I can't sit
Expedition
in the front
Everest. I'm
Getting too old.
I have to
for
sit
you.
in the middle.
I'm getting too old for this,
I
Riggs.
agree.
Do you think there's a like a pattern to that stuff though? Because I feel like if I write it every time I'm there, my body remembers where to move, and I don't feel it.
No.
But if I take long breaks, I lose that sense memory,
Depends
and
where
then
you
I
sit.
don't.
The
Maybe
forces
so.
are stronger in the
Times.
front and the back. I sit in the middle and I'm fine.
I wrote it 3 times at some point last year, and I was very sick at the end
I
of
can
the
do, like,
third
2
time. I
and
was
I'm
like, I
done.
never want to write that again.
That damn backwards.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like I can do Tower of Terror and then Rock and Roller Coaster, but I don't really want to. Like I'm old enough. I'm like I can do
Those
one
don't
or I can do
bother me
one or
at
the
all.
other and be happy.
Yeah. Although I think I detached
Yeah,
my retina
totally.
on Rock and Roller Coaster.
Is that where it happened?
I'm somewhat certain because I felt something weird. But it didn't bother me after that. But that
How
was
does
the
one
only
feel with
ride
their
where I
retina?
felt like something was going on. I don't know.
Huh.
Nick?
Well, can Grandpa talk about another ride vehicle he doesn't like getting in and out of? The Indy Speedway cars.
Oh yeah, for sure. The whole ride.
Really
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
And then there's a low like railing to get out of, and I feel like I'm crawling. I have the hardest time staying down and then getting up. Not that it hurts or anything like that. I'm just completely awkward and clumsy. And so it's partly age. It's partly just I'm clumsy and I don't know where to get up, and I push myself and crawl onto the walkway, and that's how I get out of those. I will say, I totally.
Too,
yeah, see that one I equate with Space Mountain, but I'm totally also with Nathan in saying that Wilderness Explorers is something that I really love to do. I did it that first time back when it first opened, and now I'm so self-conscious to do it again for the same reason as you are. I just feel like it's weird for me to be doing that. Maybe in a bigger group setting where we're all doing that, but 1 or 2 people, it feels weird. And I feel that way with meet and greets too. It just
I don't feel that with meet and greets.
Awkward way to do a face character meet.
Going solo, again, I didn't mind doing doing meet and greets alone back in the day, but if I do it now, I feel weird.
I think it's weird. I love Royal Table, but once the princess comes to the table, and obviously every time I'm usually with either family or significant other, but it's still awkward. Like I don't know what to talk with them about. I like characters. I always have. I've always liked the non-face. In certain cases, merely just the princesses, it's always weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
Any other character, it's funny. Like I love Streetmosphere. Male or female, doesn't matter. I'll have an hour-long conversation with Streetmosphere or any other. But it's for some reason just the princess. Maybe it's just because they put on those like really produced voices, and there's like it's always these weird lines like I'm stuck in my tower and. You know, I live with dwarves, and it's always these really weird things, and you don't know how to really respond to it.
It's really awkward. I've always had a really awkward experiences.
Those are okay. So I flash back to my last experience meeting princesses, and it was at Magic Kingdom. So we were seeing two. Katie had just gotten a new Cinderella purse, and she had all her Gus stuff on. And I was like, let's get a photo. We never went in. We'd never done it before, so we could go see Cinderella. And it goes great. Look at all the Gus stuff and great. And then we turn and there's Eleanor of Avalon or whatever the thing is.
Elena of Avalon?
Oh my God! What do you?
And I tell you what,
Avalon.
I swear to God.
I knew socially I had to take it would be weird to just walk by. And she was like, my friend Goobly Gop and I did a thingy thing, and I was like,
Oh, I like Elena.
And I was like, oh, I'm too old. I don't know this character. Like
I'm a ghost. I don't know any better.
I'm a ghost. I don't know better. So, yeah.
That was one of the less awkward ones I had to cover.
Nathan.
We had to cover that the first day, and she was pretty good about it. Sometimes they're weird about it.
She did a great job.
She was great.
I
wasn't. I gotta say, it was like the one non-awkward one.
I think this
Deer
is
in
a
headlights
guy
are
problem
amazing.
because, like, I
Sure
don't
it
feel
is.
awkward
Of
meeting
course it is.
princesses.
Probably. I
Yeah,
mean,
no, I
they're
feel awkward.
22-year-old college girls. Of course, it's weird.
We should. That's true.
I mean, I shared the
None
photo.
of us talk to 22-year-old. Well, except Nick. None of us talk to 22-year-old college girls. You know, otherwise. So. No.
I got my picture
We're
taken on
too
the
old
cruise
for that
with,
too.
I was with Rapunzel on a cruise. I was like, weren't you like the person doing the muster drill when we started this cruise? Weren't you? Like, just a little weird.
Oh man.
Star Wars cruise.
Like,
the guy that played Finn was also like the lead like entertainment guy. So I'm like, weren't they doing bingo last night? You know?
That's really funny.
That's always the best.
So everybody kind of touched on it, but you picked specific attractions. I am too old to do attractions I don't like anymore. I skipped soaring around the world, and it felt amazing. I was like, I don't need to do that. I don't like it. Everything bends. No, I'm good.
Everything bends.
Nick reminded me of something I didn't even have.
You've nestled yourself nicely into old manhood. You've just you went full.
Once the kid came, I was 1,000 years old immediately.
This is why people ask me.
You're muted.
No, I think she just went off.
She's talking, but we
Oh,
can't.
no, she doesn't
No
know.
one can hear you.
No one hears you.
Oh no.
Muted. I'm muted because no one ever
There you
wants to hear me talk. No, that's why I'm like, everyone's like, oh, why do your parents don't go to the parks? I'm like, because all my dad wants to do is just sit on the balcony and drink and like, go on a boat. That's it. That's all he wants to
Preaching to the
do.
choir.
He's like, I'm 72 years old. I'm done.
This group.
Oh.
Nick brought up hard. There's only one ride I have a hard time getting in and out of, and it's Astro Orbiter.
Oh
I once pulled both my arms getting out of the Astro Orbiter. So now I just kind of flop over the side. I just kind of roll out of the rocket now. The first time I tried to do nope, just like pulled, both arms were just dead the rest of the day.
I mean,
It's
no,
once
it's
it
No,
really
I
gets
gotta
like
see that.
altitude
How do you even
that
get
like
in
you're
Astro
really getting
Orbiter?
smushed.
You ride with another person, like
I've
by
been
yourself.
in with other people, yeah.
Oh, I
Thanks.
rode with. No, I'm saying because like I rode with Shannon and like I think my legs went numb.
Oh, not another person near my size. People
Okay.
generally of a much smaller size.
But even I've ridden with Rob and like we just don't
Yeah.
fit as
Yeah.
adults
Yeah.
in there together.
Yeah. No, I don't like
I have a few more.
You get to Matterhorn at least.
Oh, I'm fine. Matterhorn's kind of hard, but it's fine. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
What else? Anyone got more?
I have a couple. I really wish I could go to the boneyard. I don't feel like I can go in the boneyard.
I go to the boneyard.
I was gonna say that. I just walk. Yeah, like at some point, I'm just gonna be.
I've been down the slide recently.
I don't know.
I think I need to just go. I think I'm at an age now where I could just go in and have this sort of a stern, like, where is he face? And people be like, parents looking for kid. And I'd probably
go down the slide.
The guys, the people that work the slide are unfazed. I went up there and was like, can adults go? He goes, yeah, go ahead. They don't care. The only thing they're going to be weird about is if you dig. If you go dig, they get weird because there's always kids in there. But if you wait to go down the slide, whoever's working there is always real cool about it.
I'll just look down the slide and go, Jeremy, and then I'll go down the slide.
They knew I wasn't there with kids. They didn't care.
It was like the Redwood Creek Challenge is like that. I'm just like, I'm going on this tire swing right now. I'm sorry.
Well, it's Disneyland, so it's all just like Instagrammers anyway. There's no kids.
My last one was all splash water areas, like at Epcot in different places. Like, I'm hot. I want to jump in a little splash pad.
No.
But like, I'm not allowed to jump in a little splash pad.
Babies.
It's for naked babies. It's no good.
I had a few of those on my list.
Yeah,
and I'm like, now I can do them again.
I'm baby.
Yeah, you got it back.
Oh. Anyone else? Anything?
Yeah, I got I saved it. Oh, go ahead. Somebody get unmuted there.
No, Eric, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Eric.
I saved it for last. It's kind of a hot take. People won't like this. I'm getting too old for the Food and Wine Festival. Especially on weekends. It used to be my absolute favorite time of the year, and it's turned into an amateur hour.
Yeah.
Packs of roving bros and their matching T-shirts of 40 people getting trashed, and Food and Wine Festival has changed from something that maybe is my fault. Maybe I told too many of my friends,
out,
Food and Wine Festival is awesome. You should come. Yeah. But all the other festivals have just as much food and wine as the Food and Wine Festival now. It seems
it's
like
the worst festival.
Yeah, and this has turned into an S show, as they say. It's maybe on a Monday or Tuesday or whatever. But
no, it's every day now.
I'm getting too old for dealing with these people, and I don't need to stand in line for a half hour to get a 5-ounce beer, and I don't need to stand in line, and roving.
They try harder at all the other festivals. The food's not good anymore. The drinks are blah. I think Art Fest and Flower and Garden, they try much harder. I like both of those. I stay away from Food and Wine.
Yeah, and you can do lighthearted things. Like if you want to paint the mural, and like there's no judgment for painting the mural because like adults and like families and kids are doing it. Stuff like that. I love stuff like that.
Yeah, I just even meant from like a food and drinking viewpoint. I think that I just have a better time at those. I mean, I also often have to do every booth in one day, and it's 98 degrees. Both the temperature and the band playing at the America Gardens Theater.
Smash Mouth.
Sugar Ray.
Anyone else got more?
Hey, now.
I was trying. Go ahead. Go ahead, Ron.
Kind of related to, I guess, Food and Wine from the snacking perspective is not actually eating real food and just eating snacks all day, like just going from pretzel to Dole Whip to something else and just not having a sit-down meal or even a counter service anymore.
That's
something we used to do, and it's just
I don't
part
like
of it's
the
rest,
snacks
part
here,
of
so I don't do it. I think our snacks are terrible. I just want to have like 2 sit-down meals a day. That's what I want to do here. So, like Disneyland and Japan, I just want to snack all day. Like I have a very long list of things I feel the need to get every visit at both of those. And Disney World's never been like that. I'm never like, oh my God, I need a Dole Whip and I need a citrus swirl and I need a pretzel. And half those things I think are terrible. I hate them. I just never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on the caliber of snacks. Again, when I went to Disneyland, it was kind of like that. Like I would snack throughout the day.
Yeah.
And then just get a meal at night, and it was fine. It was great because like all the snacks were like surprisingly good.
Yeah. But even like just I will go to like a counter service and get a smaller meal. you know, at a couple of different counters, or just like a side or something. Like there's a couple of those that I like. I definitely overeat at Disneyland. Constantly, I feel every time I go, I overdo it. But I'm like, oh, but I need this thing and that thing and this thing.
I need a corn dog castle.
What'd you say?
Corn dog castle.
I love corn dog castle.
Like 5 minutes before the parade, I need to order a corn dog.
It's like that whole string of restaurants, though. I can think of like, just in Paradise Pier. Like I need a num num cookie. I need an angry dog.
You can get them at the bakery now.
I want the thing from Paradise Garden Grill. I want a corn dog. I want all those things, and those are just in one land. Anyway.
Well, I did it at Disneyland last time, and that was kind of like we got to the end of the day, and we're like, we didn't sit down and relax at all, and that was part of it. Is because it's like, oh, Bengal barbecue and Ronto wraps and stuff like that. It was just we didn't actually sit and eat until I think after Fantasmic.
Oh, now that chocolate popcorn, that Galaxy's Edge chocolate popcorn, it might be better than any of the Japan ones even. It's so good.
Wow.
So good. Now, anyone else got any more?
I had one. I was trying to think of something Disney Springs related. And Rainforest Cafe, T-Rex, that sort of.
Wolfgang Puck.
To go to Disney Springs. I don't know, like.
What I came up with, which is, go ahead, Fig.
No, let it go.
Oh, okay. What I thought of, and this only pertains now and then, but it's the Lego store. Not all Lego stores. I can walk into a Lego store in a mall. It's not a problem. That Lego store is just like awash with children in a way. Like it is a play area in many aspects.
It's a Lego store.
And there's just times where
It's kind of like Lego.
I know it's fine. I just sometimes I feel like
kids just lick a Lego and put it back.
Yeah, it's too much. If it's not scrapped, I have no trouble.
They're gonna put a thing over the holes where the bricks are, and it's like a glove, and you put your hand in, and it's just a glove. You're in automatically.
You know what doesn't lose its charm even as an adult? Rainforest Cafe.
You're damn right. Now you can have the mixed drinks in the souvenir cup.
Rainforest still is charming and exciting. I know it's super cheap.
I got a ceramic Cha-Cha the Frog cup and my pina colada.
Okay, next time we all get to go, you got to take me to Rainforest Cafe and make me love it again because I haven't been there since I was super young.
They're going to open on the 20th. I'm having a socially distant experience. The only thing I'm going to be less than 6 feet from is that goddamn elephant. Put a mask on.
And if you're at the bar, you can only sit in all the zebra stools. You know, they're all like.
Patrick, I feel like you've been sitting on some.
I have a controversial one, and Ron and I were discussing it earlier, and he even yelled at me. He says, "You have a kid, you're going to be up early." I am too old for rope drop. There is no reason for me to be at the park at that point in time. My daughter doesn't want to be there that early. I don't want to be there that early. Why am I going to do that?
Animal.
She doesn't know any better that she didn't get a Seven Dwarfs Mine Train Fast Pass. What's the difference?
Yeah.
I think that's different if you're on vacation versus if you're a local. Like if you're a local, every now and then you wake up, you're like, you know what? I'm going to go over and hit rope drop.
Well,
if I'm on vacation,
Hollywood Studios, if you want to ride the stupid Rise of the Resistance.
That's the only thing I've rope dropped, Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
I hate that. I'm too old for that.
I've done rope drop once in my life. Oh my I'm not a morning person, and now especially with Fast Passes online in advance, I'm like, I'll just go when I want. I make everything for afternoon. But one time Shannon and I were like, we should do rope drop. And so we got there at like 8:30 and the park opened at 9 and we were there the whole day. And we were very tired and it was like, well, we've done that.
When I first started going by myself, like 2017, 2016, like I'd want to make the most of it. So I'd make these like super, I'm going to get to like Animal Kingdom at 8 in the morning or like 7 in the morning. And it was just so comfortable because it's also Florida. So it's extra humid, extra hot, the earlier you are. And it's just just frizzy and humid, and I just miserable. And then like by 2 o'clock, you just hate everyone. So my thing now is just stroll on in at noon. Everyone's happy. The people who were there in the morning who are now grumpy are on their way out. Is it like hotter and kind of like wilder? Yeah, but I don't care. I'm by myself.
I do like reaching that point in being a tourist somewhere where you don't feel the need to wake up early every day. And finally, I got to that point a couple of years ago with Disneyland, where I was like, I've been here enough. I'm tired. I'm gonna sleep in. I'm just gonna go to Disneyland at 11.
That was my second time at Disneyland, and I would stroll into the park at noon.
We actually did the afternoon tickets on our last trip.
Everyone talked at the same time.
I was saying I actually did the afternoon only tickets that they had last year.
Yeah.
I always said, I'm like, that's my ticket if I didn't have an annual pass.
I mean, isn't the Epcot after 5 AP exclusively I'm too old for all of this pass?
After 4.
Oh, excuse me.
That's actually a pass I considered.
I'm sorry. In shame, I now resign from WDW.
Once you buy the Epcot after 4, you're like, you're like 3 years from death. That's it.
I used to have
it's the only pass that gets left in a will. I leave my Epcot after 4 ticket to Timmy. It's not transferable, but you can haggle with them.
They're going to put a Furs cafeteria in Epcot for the Epcot after 4.
Patrick mentioned this when we were talking, and Peekaboo at 2 a.m. That's definitely
the restaurant at Swan and Dolphin or the game?
Yeah. Patrick and I ended up there at 2 a.m. a couple years ago.
Oh, Peekaboo! Oh man, that place is an experience. Though. The decor, the service charge, it's a trip. The worst beer ever made. That Finn's beer that's exclusive to the Swan and Dolphin.
Did I drink that?
It is the worst beer ever produced.
Bad. Yeah.
Real bad. Anyone else have any other ones? We're running out of time here.
One stupid one is...
go ahead.
Something I did when I lived in Florida and I was younger was not wear sunscreen to the parks, and that was just dumb. I mean, I had more of a base tan when I lived in Florida. I was probably about 10 shades darker, but so I didn't burn instantly. But now I'm out in the sun for 10 minutes and I look like I'm medium rare.
You should wear sunscreen or you will get skin cancer and die.
Yeah, I'm like, can't relate.
I've never worn sunscreen.
Well,
I always
get
forget.
Skin cancer and die.
Good.
Yeah. Okay.
Better than the alternative. This is more of a joke than anything, but any sort of being out after 11 p.m. with Pete, I'm too old for that.
Jelly rolls.
Yeah.
I feel too old for jelly rolls every time I go with him.
I love you, Pete. You know I do.
The siren
I'm an old man.
Anyone up for jelly?
Yeah.
We go on like
I just don't got
night, and I'm like 10 years older than everyone in there.
I remember one time I was like, let me not be lame.
that post fireworks boardwalk is I don't have it in me after a certain time.
Yeah,
I like closing out Bellevue.
Jelly rolls.
Oh, I like Bellevue Lounge.
Did it go well? Did you feel too old?
No, by the end of the night it was.
I don't know who's talking to who.
Oh,
like we have people in the studio again.
Sooner than later.
Nathan, who were you talking to?
Fig, she had mentioned being at Jelly Rolls, and I was asking if she felt too old.
On one night during Station 9, I got like a text. I was like, we're all at Jelly Rolls. So I take an Uber over to Jelly Rolls, and then I get there and it's just like Pete and Jill and like one other person. And it was just so loud and so oppressive, and I was just so tired, but I wanted to be like, I want to be cool, I want to be not lame and just sleep at 10 o'clock. And I got in, I paid my cover, and I walked right back out.
I've done that. I've been there.
So,
yeah.
Too old for it.
You know what? I just got robbed $15. It's not like I'm gonna like ask him for it back. Yeah. Literally just
Oh man.
I like it when it's like the older crowd. When it's like the
out.
convention crowd, it's fine. You don't want to go on CP night.
Oof.
I think it was like a Wednesday or something. It was like CP, and I was like, nope.
Any other ones, real quick?
I'm too old to be up this late.
All right, Jason.
It's 11:30.
Anyone else? Is that
It's
it?
different when you're home.
That's it. All right, thanks, everybody.